Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to another installment of Show to Be with Mike G, the show of life, the show of San Diego, the show of entrepreneurialism, racia, but most importantly, tequila. Today's guest, JP de Loera of William Grant & Sons, repping Milagro Tequila, and hopefully I didn't butcher the pronunciation there, Juan Pablo, but I'm doing what I can as a dude out of Austin, Texas. I love the William Grant & Sons roster. This will be the fourth person, although I've only released two, but the fourth person, brilliant, bright personality coming out of that roster. But today we talk Milagro Tequila. We talk about the industry. We talk about brand ambassadors. But the best thing is that we have this flight. Not a lot of the shows do I get the opportunity to take a flight through the spirit that the guest is kind of representing. But this conversation is unique, and we fly through the Ordinario run, the Spirit run, a Blanco run, and a barrel special edition of Milagro. And I have to tell you, they were all amazingly delicious. So without further ado, I hope you guys enjoyed this great conversation with JP de Loera.
Have a history with some of these faces that at the beginning they were, just faces without a name or
no
names
context
without a face.
Or anything, right?
Exactly,
Yeah.
No context. So now it's definitely nice. They say, everyone says our greatest assets are people. Yeah. I think friendships are the salt and pepper of life.
Absolutely.
Right? Your relationships are what make your day-to-day.
Love, hate, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
I think you're right. And do you not love that part of this industry?
I love it.
That's my favorite part.
I mean, inevitably, that's essentially how you and I just came through relationships, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was actually on a flight. Are we recording already?
Yeah, we're good.
Great. I was on a flight recently, and there was this girl that I just started chatting with, and she said, besides working out, it was just work and then work out and work. And she had a tattoo of what do you call it, dumbbell?
A bench.
A bench, yeah.
Herb, yeah.
Tattooed on her. And she said, I really don't have relationships. And I said, what do you mean? We all need friends.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't understand what a friend is. And it was insane because I said,
was she like grotesque or something? I suspect not, right?
No, she was, she was a pretty girl.
Yeah.
She married, and
that's a relationship, isn't it?
That's absolutely a relationship.
Yeah, but I guess maybe she didn't think of it like that.
She was basically saying that she doesn't have time nor desire to meet other people. I said, what are you? The people you have common interests with.
Right.
You love working out. I can only imagine you've got
some gym buddies.
And
has to be, right?
Put it this way. I was blown away by the fact that she said she'd been living in San Antonio for a year or two. And I was kind of astounded that she didn't know some simple things about San Antonio. Right. And then I go and I'm like, have you seen the Tower of the Americas? Mm-hmm. She's like, what?
A big building that's down there?
That looks like the Space Needle in Seattle. She's like, I know what you're talking about in Seattle.
She knows that, but not right down the street from
her.
So,
as soon as she told me that, I was like, oh, okay. Like, I get it.
Some people just they get blinders on, they really do.
She says she lived by SeaWorld, and the fact that I'm even sharing that, it just blew me away how I was like, the richness is, back to what we were talking, is friends.
It's real experiences with other people.
Exactly.
That's the thing, and it's hard because I'll tell you, Lydia and I talk, obviously, we live together, get married and all that, but we talk a lot about people, and we talk a lot about society, as you do, especially like when it kind of gets this political season. We just wrapped Making a Murderer, so there's lots of stuff for us to talk about right now. And the thing is that often she has this different lens of which she looks at society. She's like, man, people, they suck. I'm like, you know what? People do suck. But I'll tell you what's really, really heartening and something that gives me a little bit more optimism is having those real moments.
Yes.
Like talking to people. There hasn't been a single person that's been up here that I went to their house and chatted with that isn't incredibly earnest, incredibly open, and just warm. And maybe it's biased because everybody's in hospitality. I don't know. But I think people are like that.
You know what? I think that's spot on. I don't think we can avoid the fact that we are all in hospitality.
We have some ability, yeah.
And I think we are in it because of how we are,
yeah.
Right? I mean, I truly believe that people in hospitality that truly are in the industry are nice, caring people.
It's a predilection towards that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was in Russia in my previous job a few years ago. And someone asked me, coming back to Mexico, they were like, how were the Russians? Were they super cold? And
yeah.
I said, you know what? Maybe, but the Russians that I engaged with in the tequila business, they were just as friendly as you and me.
Yeah.
You know? They were great. So there's something to be said about the cocktail global community.
Right.
Because I actually did ask the right-hand guy of one of the Mexico ambassador when we were in Moscow. I said, well, what's your opinion? What are Russians like? If you can kind of
just give me
very stereotypical and say,
let me keep it in my notes here.
And I said, are they quite cold and reserved? And first he said, well, imagine you lived under a gray blanket for 10 months of the year.
Yeah.
How would you be?
That's a good point.
And it's certainly a good point. I mean, us here in South Texas in San Antonio.
Oh, all it is sunshine, right?
All sunshine. We might get 2 cloudy days. I'm like, ooh, it feels like we're stuck at 7 in the morning.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah, I could relate.
It does. It's a seasonal affective disorder, which people experience in Alaska a lot. So that's
so they do. There's last 10 months.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, but that makes a lot of sense. But I think ultimately what it is, it's perception is reality, which is good and bad. Bad because my assumptions often become what the reality is in my perception, and it shapes something in a very inaccurate way. But I think that it is fair to say that anybody in the agave spirits business that isn't trying to peddle some shitty product, they're pretty damn awesome people.
Yeah.
I haven't met it
Completely
like
agree.
Francisco for Vogue. It works. I love Francisco.
Yeah.
Judah's great. Ron Cooper, which his reputation precedes him. I have personally not met him, but then Chris Bostic's the new guy. Like all these people are just lovely, lovely people.
And it's like an unspoken brotherhood and sisterhood,
dude.
Right?
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
So speaking of agave, because let's use this to talk about chapter 1 of your life, and then this is an interesting narrative. I'm going to try to do this like a masterpiece theater kind of thing.
Okay.
But so you said you've brought. It looks like you've got 2 different distillates, same agave mash, right? One is a pot stilled distillate, and the other is a column stilled.
Right. So this, before we continue on to the rest of what we're tasting here with Milagro, I wanted to show you something that's kind of unique, and it's the backbone or the structure, the skeleton of Milagro.
You know how rare it is that anybody gets to taste the molecules and the skeleton of the tequila?
Absolutely.
Never happens. Ever. Absolutely. It's already blended. The perspective's already shaped. Like, oh, good. Yeah. I'm already getting the distiller's perspective and their creative vision in my palate. But tasting it at a fundamental basis, I mean, I can't wait.
This is part of a program that we're going to do. I'm going to go to San Antonio, Houston, or Dallas, Austin, and sit down with friends of ours, 20 people, and we brought some soil samples. And so Milagro is something that makes Milagro just different than other tequilas is whereas other beautiful tequilas are double distilled in pot stills, whether copper or stainless steel.
Right.
We do 1 pot still distillation. So the first ordinario is pot still.
Okay.
And then we take that ordinario and then we put it through a column. So
gotcha, okay.
As we all know, pot stills are very rich in capturing aromas.
Absolutely. More oils. I can just looking at the texture of the spirit, I can see the texture
You can
through the
see
bottle.
it.
Yeah.
Right.
It's incredibly oily and probably
Right.
very fragrant.
And I love ordinarios.
Yeah.
You know, if this was, tequila, you have to commercialize between 35 and 55 ABV. This, we actually have a very low ordinario ABV because we cut a lot of the heads and tails.
Oh, do you? Okay.
So this is 18% ABV.
Oh, that's actually lots of cutting then.
A lot of cutting.
Which means you guys are really, you know exactly which flavors you want at the heart of that run.
Yes.
Yeah. And you're cutting out those funkiness that you get in the puntas and the colas. That's cheesy in a sense. Better for mezcal, less better for tequila.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, I mean, that's my preference, but...
No, mine too. I was just thinking a little bit. I think there's something to be said. I certainly would like for, just like you, I love all agave spirits.
Yeah.
I would like to see some more innovation for like funkier tequilas, which, the process in the plant lends itself to.
Absolutely. So it's strange because until you get a chance to distill it, and Sotol is relatively similar in terms of the flavor profiles in the areas of the run, until you smell it, get it on your hand, all those different parts, and then have to blend it to have that final vision, you never truly understand the essence of that plant. And tequila, I guess, to its credit or discredit, again, based on your preference, it almost neuters some of those funky flavors.
Yeah, and that's the chicken or the egg.
Yeah.
Is it, in Mexico, the highest selling volume-wise tequila is reposado, right? There's a lot of historical reasons for it, going back to Porfirio Diaz and him drinking European aged spirits, so then the elite preference for aged spirits. Yeah. And then for maybe the care for a silver being this wild stallion and rough.
Yeah.
Was it rough because people didn't care for it or because,
Yeah, no, great point.
So, luckily now we all know the best tequilas start with a great silver.
Yeah.
Right? But no, I completely agree. But, for Milagro, we're going to taste, and this is
the pot stilled ordinario?
This is, that's 18% ABV. So you can see it's a little bit cloudy, lots of the lipids.
No, I love it. Yeah. Wow.
It's super.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
It's fragrant. It's minerally.
Jesus.
I could sip on this,
And it's 18, so I know it's going to be easy.
This is 18%.
Yeah.
This is like a nice sake.
Yeah. I feel real lucky at this moment, man. I almost feel like the fumes from this, how lovely they are seeping through this microphone. That's how vivid it is.
Oh yeah, and
how fragrant.
Obviously, right off the bat, when you go to a distillery and you are by this ordinario, that to me is when I know I'm at. The cooked agave on the ordinario. It's when I get a little bit relaxed and happy to be there in Los Altos or whatnot.
Oh my gosh!
But this is delicious. It's just
it's beyond
vegetal.
It's still perfectly sweet, slightly fruity. The thing I love about this piece, and actually, when we'll follow obviously with the column still, to taste, man, it's like hearing an acoustic song, and that it's a bigger song than that. And so it's just a dude playing a guitar. It's like an Elliott Smith song, right? Elliott Smith song. It's like, okay, I get the melody, I get the song. It's very subdued, very quiet. But then you bring in that second run.
Right.
And all of those flavors, all of that volume, all of those dynamics are condensed and concentrated to have this amazing power. It turns into an epic rock ballad at that point.
My goodness.
And that's the thing that I love about this particular, the Ordinary, that first run, is because it's still, you're connected to the plant. Everything's cool. You're still friends.
Absolutely.
Nothing's out of touch yet,
Absolutely.
And then it reaches this meteoric rise to bring it back. This meteoric rise in that second run. And it's really lovely.
And I think this is something that we were talking about, the whole agave community would love to taste. I think, starting with the ordinario is...
I didn't know, but now I know. That's the thing. I never knew. Yeah. And you can tell this is the heart.
That's it.
Smooth, sweet.
That's it.
Harmonious.
Funk. and while my counterpart in the East is Jaime Salas, and him and I were big agave heads. Certainly, being where we are.
Yeah.
for a little bit we were discussing, I know we have a low ABV Ordinario, and that's just being transparent. That's we have a lot of cuts, but then we thought about what are the people who have really like mezcal in their palate and they want the pechuga and they want the funk and this, and we said, what, no, at the end of the day, like this is the heart of what the vision was to make.
Absolutely.
And I think the liquid speaks better than anything I could say.
It's insane. It's so good. It's it's perfectly not smooth in the palate sense, but smooth in the mental sense.
Yes.
Everything falls into place.
It's
perfectly.
Approachable. Yeah. It's sippable. We always say that smoothness is not equivalent to tasteless.
That's an amazing representation of it.
So yeah, we're gonna start tasting a few people around our lovely state of Texas.
Yeah.
And just in appreciation, and I think it's only necessary to let people taste this, right? We're lucky we live in a state that there's a high intellectual interest for agave spirits, and there's enormous business interest, both from consumer and trade. So
it is a real big, like a big behind the scenes kind of thing. That's what this feels like.
This, on the other hand, I'm going to take you from a walk on the beach, 18 ABV, to a good night out at 75.
Oh, it's 75 off the
ABV. ABV.
And you can just tell how much clearer it is, too.
It's completely clear. So we take a column, and it's actually, I think a lot of people outside of rum, vodka, or precisely because of what vodka may erroneously be deemed as flavorless and bodiless and whatnot, kind of fear the word column and continuous distillation and whatnot. I could, admit
bourbon's often column and just continuous, and it still has plenty of flavor, although it's not the same kind of thing in that it's not trying to get as much flavor from those grains as it is the barrel, but understandable.
Right. And, if you ever have the opportunity to visit our distillery, it's actually a very small column and kind of better.
Small diameter-wise?
Both diameter and height.
Yeah, because 70 is good. That's good. But it's not. It's obviously not that high.
Exactly.
There's no plates probably. Or maybe plates, but...
Few. Yeah. The idea is, yes, it's a better piece of equipment to strip, congeners and character out of spirits.
Right.
It also is a better tool to kind of dissect and truly get rid of what you don't want and polish and
it turns up the volume of those flavors. It really does.
Exactly.
Well, let's take it. This is 75.
75. And you can feel that Ordinario come through, just pop, vegetal. There's a natural heat to it, but there's, unless it goes,
the wrong way.
Down,
no, it's still delicious, though.
It's just very delicious.
It heightens the sweetness, the flavor, the vegetal, all of it.
Yeah.
It's really lovely.
So there really aren't many tequilas out there that do a process like this. But then again, that's the beauty of all spirits, right? Every house is different.
You can do it in their own way. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, so I gather that you said you've been living in Texas about 3 years now.
3.5.
And where are you from? Where did you grow up?
So I was born in California.
Where about?
In La Jolla, San Diego.
Yeah.
My father, my mom and dad are from Guadalajara.
It's in the blood already?
It's in the blood. My maternal side, my mom's father, my abuelito Elias, and mi abuelita Lola, they were from Los Altos of Jalisco, from Tepatitlan.
Oh, no.
Where, Milagro, where we have our aging warehouse and everything, right? So...
and you didn't, but there's no way to know at a young age any of that yet.
No, you can't, right? When you're young... Yeah.
You probably don't even care.
No.
It's like, I want to do this other thing.
Exactly. So, my maternal side of the family is from Los Altos, from Tepa. And my uncles, grandparents, everyone was already born in Guadalajara. Or Jalisco, at
least. So did your parents trek to San Diego, ultimately?
I think my father was getting away from some business.
Oh, really? He was eluding something?
Yeah. I don't know exactly, the politics of early 80s.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't either.
And it was funny because I just spent the holidays with an uncle down in San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
Funny enough, and I asked him, "Hey, Theo, like, why was I born in San Diego?" Or
right. Seems random,
why
does
San
it?
Diego? Because I'd even heard my mom once say that they were considering Brazil.
Oh, okay.
So I could have been Brazilian.
Yeah.
And would be talking cachaça.
Yeah.
But so I guess there's a story. We somehow, the family ended up in San Diego.
Yeah.
Lived there till, right now, just because it's kind of a question, but otherwise, I grew up in Guadalajara up until I was 8 years old, 9 years old. Then from there, moved to San Antonio.
Oh, so you said, did the family move?
The whole family. Yeah. So
do you have any brothers or sisters?
I'm the youngest of four.
Youngest of four.
The youngest
How was
of
that?
four. It's awesome.
It's pretty good.
Hey, you know
right?
what's funny? There's a book I found. I forget the title, but essentially it was like personalities depending on
where you are in that.
Where you were born in. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And I open the book, scan the glossary, and look at last child.
Uh-huh.
Right? The chapter on the baby of the siblings.
Was there a picture of you in there?
No. But so I open, I see the page, which is towards 3/4 of the book. So, there's 3/4 that I'm jumping over.
Sure. What doesn't apply to you? What does it matter?
Well, I open it and it says, if you're reading this chapter and you are the youngest child, chances are you skipped over the whole book and just went straight to yourself. I was like, oh, man. I fell into this like macro vision of,
people.
Someone knows who, people who study humans
it's amazing.
know something about me that I don't even know. But it was,
talking to stereotypes.
So
Jesus,
I guess, although I like to think that I'm embracing and humble and caring to everyone, I apparently
self-centeredness might in fact be in your blood.
Exactly.
So what took you then to San Antonio?
Again, we just had a summer home, and my father was, I guess he just said, it's a cool place to live.
Yeah.
I can work from wherever,
Oh, so he was able to work remote?
Yeah,
wherever?
he always had his own businesses.
Oh, cool.
He was in the tire industry. For a very long time.
Yeah.
So much that every time I go into Discount Tire or Sam's Club and I, smell the pungent aroma of rubber,
take you back?
It takes me. But you can imagine tires being stacked in towers, right? And if you picture that 100 rows by 25,
right?
We used to play running on top of all those towers. It was common, I guess, for tire kids, or at least maybe for
tire kids.
Yeah.
When's that movie coming out?
Right. And suddenly to hide, you would just kind of drop in the middle of a column purposely, right? Because then you could grasp on the tire.
Can you climb out too?
Yeah, easily. Okay. Because they're like ladders.
Yeah.
You can imagine the tube sideways. But yeah, so there's good fond memories of tires in my family.
Amazing. How was it going to school in San Antonio at that point?
San Antonio was good. It's funny. I remember one of my best friends now. He's actually the first friend I made when I moved to San Antonio.
Back in the day?
In like 91, 92.
Wow.
And, since high school, we didn't see each other. I graduated in 2001. And up until maybe like 2 years ago, I'm exiting a bar, the Brooklyn night in San Antonio.
Kidding. And
I see him, and we're just like, hey. And, kind of.
Like, I hadn't even lost a beat.
Yeah, it was good.
That's great.
But so, my oldest brother lives in Guadalajara still.
Oh, does he? Okay.
My parents live in Guadalajara.
Oh, they moved back after you got out of high school, or
that's a foggy question because be amongst moving. Some of us were moving to Guadalajara, some to San Antonio because of school, and then my father back to Mexico with the business, and I kind of lose track when it is that we all kind of went our own ways.
Yeah.
But,
disbanded in a sense.
What's that?
The band broke up in a way.
Yeah, and now I have brother in Guadalajara, sister in Mexico City, and my other brother in San Jose, California.
No kidding. It's awesome for now. So you graduated in 2001. Did you have that vision? Were you a pretty erudite kid? Were you scholarly? I think I was an average B+, A- kid.
I never thought I'd be going to university in Mexico. So guys,
So that's where you, okay.
yeah, I went to university in Guadalajara.
What degree? Or were you?
Business.
Business. Yeah, you business guys.
Business guys. We know nothing, and we know everything, but we really know nothing.
You can speak about everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Taxes? Let me go get the book.
That's right.
I don't remember anything.
But part of it is just knowing how to find those things to answer those questions.
I know,
right?
exactly. I have the tools to find the answers.
Exactly.
Going down to school in Mexico was great. If it wasn't for that, I got to spend a year abroad in France. So ever since then, I remember having a friend, Jean-Philippe Le Ruzic, who was kind of the president of the wine club. So, and you know what? I was thinking about this the other day. It was actually during that year that in one of, a house party with all the foreign students.
Yeah.
I remember this girl goes, "Why don't we make cocktails?"
Like some novel concept?
Yeah, it was like something new, and it was complete. And I was like, cocktails?
Yeah.
That sounds very snobbish. Like, well, let's just make palomas.
Right.
And that's it.
Which is a cocktail. Right?
Yeah, but when, in Mexico, no one knows that the concept. I don't know if the paloma has made it to the American Museum of Cocktails.
Right.
It's just something you put on a table,
yeah.
Squirt.
Just like it's like a
rum
michelada or something. Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
Just functional. Like
yeah.
Two thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you guys? You're like, I don't know exactly how we're gonna make cocktails. What are you talking about?
You know what? This is horrible, but it was. I was 19, 20. Was 19. I turned 20 in France. And what kind of blew me away is that they don't use ice. At least college kids, they drink everything room temperature. So even in nightclubs, it was horrible at the beginning, but then you just
get used to it.
You get used to it.
Why is that? Is it just preference? Is it safety? Like
I don't know.
I
don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's why tipping is different in every country.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Well, there's I guess there is a lot of countries where you get a glass of water and it's just still
exactly.
There's no water. So maybe.
Exactly. But
it's already hot enough. Jesus.
It's already hot enough. You can imagine you're in a nightclub and for some reason it was super popular vodka pomme, which is vodka and apple juice.
That's not bad.
It's not bad, but when it's room temperature,
it's way worse.
It's and also they, because I was, because I am Mexican, they thought I knew of the tequila paf, and I was like, what is this tequila paf?
What is that?
So they would get a tequila, and essentially, I think there's a word for English, but I didn't know this. They take like a shot glass. Mm-hmm. Half of the shot glass is tequila. The other is a sparkling soda.
Oh, okay.
You top it, you enclose it with your hand, and then you slam it against the bar twice, and it fizzles and kind of explodes, and you drink it really fast.
Oh, interesting.
So
yeah, that's a common way to get people pregnant. I think in the in the States, I'm not familiar. There's like what is it, cement mixer? I think's one where you acidify or you curdle Baileys or something with lemon juice or lime. Believe me, I cannot remember, but it does that same thing. You just like smack it and then you toss it back. There's something about smacking and tossing,
right?
With us that time in our early 20s.
I think everybody, we all have our tequila stories. I
think so.
We all had to go through a tequila story.
I think so. Yeah.
Right.
And it's nothing like this.
Nothing like this.
That was the dark side, dark ages.
Yeah. I'm glad we're able to sip slowly now. And with education.
Which is good. So, studying business abroad then in France?
Right.
When did this kind of curiosity, because I think obviously you got a good example. Your dad owns his own business. You're going to school for business. Yeah. Was that your purview? Is that exactly what you were looking to do? Start something for yourself?
You know what? I think there is information. There are statistics that say that people that live in quote unquote third world countries tend to have, again, this is just very yin yang, black and white.
Right.
Statistics tend to have more of an entrepreneurial attitude.
Maybe almost out of necessity.
I know, absolutely, because large companies just aren't there.
Yeah.
Right. The economies thrive on very small business. So
lots of
small business loans, mom and pops. So I think it's only out of necessity that you have a high index of entrepreneurship and innovation in different countries. To me, it was, again, growing between both countries. It was just always a blend of, okay, I like this, of what, how things are done in Mexico, or I like this, how it's being done in the U.S.
I mean, that's a good pedigree to have, to see both sides of it. Like
sometimes it's confusing.
Is it?
No, I'm certainly I've been lucky. I have, I've been working under corporate positions for a while, and they've been great, right?
Sure.
It's only thanks to tequila that I've seen lots of parts of the world and kind of seen where tequila's momentum is in that country,
right?
And that, if it wasn't for tequila, or for a phenomenal corporation under that sense that allows you to visit all the other cultures, representing your home spirit.
Yeah, empowering you, getting you out there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a sense of pride in that.
Absolutely.
Like that you're representing this thing, you're traveling around.
Absolutely.
I am curious, though, did your interest for booze, maybe not just tequila, is that peaked when you went to France? Since it's such steeped in that culture.
It would be romantic for me to say that.
Yeah.
Absolutely no. I think it just came towards... I can tell you. After my year abroad, I really started going more to bars because you could talk to people.
Sure.
You could exchange ideas.
Exchange numbers, ideas.
Right? I certainly enjoyed dancing,
yes,
for example. But I can tell you, since I was 20 until now, I've just always enjoyed the social aspect of bars. I mean, that's what pubs were, public houses.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. Connecting.
So towards my last years of college, I started liking more the whole sipping.
Taking your time with it.
There really wasn't. I mean, just even now in Mexico, do we start having a cocktail culture? But that, doesn't start till maybe 3-4 years ago, really. So it wasn't till a little bit later. And I really got into the world of tequila because a friend of mine was the president of a tequila brand in Guadalajara.
Oh, no kidding.
And they were actually looking essentially for a pretty girl to do the distillery tours.
Right.
And obviously you see that job description and,
like, I'm not
maybe
I'm pretty, but I'm not a girl.
No, well, neither, like XX, neither of those. Right. So the thought never crossed my mind. But then someone, this friend said, hey, kind of gave me a slap on the face and said, you are great with people. Go talk to him and apply and tell him you can be much more than just a pretty face. And
sure.
You can engage and welcome and be part of PR and marketing. And so that's how I got into the world of tequila formally.
Isn't it interesting, though, how those jobs have shifted to that?
Oh,
they've
absolutely.
shifted to more learning and more empowering and connecting rather than superficiality and just operating under the guise of what's sexy.
Yeah.
It's like, it was always so skin deep for a long time, but now it's like we're having these conversations about tequila in a very lengthy and academic and often nerdy way. But that's what people are craving now, I think.
Oh, my goodness.
The more information.
I was able to spend so much time at, distilleries and agave fields. And we were talking about what is celebrity, from being unknown to suddenly hitting and many agaveros almost felt celebrity-ish in their little towns. That's because amazing, all of a sudden you have this foreign investment, person XYZ that wants to start their own tequila, and they get thrown a lot of money their way.
Yeah.
Right? So
it's something different. It's a different economy then.
It's a different economy. There's many who are educated and have really grown with the business. And there's some that, kind of like many of pro baseball or football players, they go bankrupt after the fourth year.
They succumb to the lifestyle.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
That's that's an amazing parallel because I never realized. I hear the bourbon guys talking about the fact that like they've been doing this for decades, but now they're kind of rock stars. Like, I don't know how to deal with that. Like they've just been operating for so long because they were later in life, when they were doing this stuff. But there is that same kind of celebrity kind of support and excitement around. Like Mezcaleros too.
Oh, absolutely.
It's cool. It's great.
I think it's great. Yet I think we have to be careful in the sense that sometimes, for example, when I look at a piece of art and, it could be hanging in, at the Tate Modern in London or whatever, and it's renowned and this and that. Sometimes, I've spoken with artists and they're like, you know what? Someone may think they know what I was feeling under that moment of whatever. I just wanted to paint roses. That's all
sometimes it's just like to get it out there.
That's it. And so I think the same goes. We can be as romantic as we want about spirits, and absolutely they warrant it, and they are beautiful. Otherwise we wouldn't even be talking right now.
That's right, yeah.
But at the end of the day, people are working to feed their families, to do whatever it is that their hopes and aspirations are. My only sometimes ask is, even for myself, is to remember that just because said palenquero is producing something great doesn't mean that his son wants to do it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Maybe his son wants to open a music studio. There's so many.
Yeah, I mean, we're always like, no, I don't want to take over the family business. Right?
Exactly.
How many times does his son say that?
Well,
all the time.
I'm the youngest of four with 3 boys, and none of us work with my dad.
No kidding.
Because as he's a phenomenal father, couldn't ask for anything more. As someone to have a work relationship with, it's a little bit more complicated.
It's different.
It's different. Yeah. So I can only imagine there must be many kids of palenqueros that are like, that's awesome what he's doing, cool.
Right.
But you know what? I want to go be a lawyer, or I want to go cook tamales.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Just something. Have your own voice, have your own vision.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've ever talked about that. The celebrity of it and what those risks really do entail.
Well, you know what? To me, it's interesting that living here in the U.S. and again, I was born in the U.S. So legally I'm American, blood-wise I'm Mexican. However you want to look at it, but it's interesting to me that I feel that it can be a little bit dangerous. I think there's some people that kind of take this baton to Mexico, and I could see that happening if they go to run plantations or cachaça or places, in less fortunate economic countries, and kind of take this baton of, I'm the first one here to learn about this, and I'm going to take it back, and I am the face of.
Yeah.
So, and I'm like, how long that has been, like, in those countries? You know how many people, for example, recently someone in social media said, who is your agave authority that's not related to any brand, right? And they started rolling off a few names, and some I agree with, some I was like, oh, interesting,
sure,
great people, but there were no names from Mexico, right? So it's almost like we're just self-applauding the same people that have been talking. And I mean, if it wasn't for this influencers, agave and mezcal and tequila wouldn't be where it's at in the U.S.
But they're pretty much always white guys. Let's just be frank.
Yeah,
they are. And that's how the Europeans worked, and that's why I'm here right now, right?
Yeah.
Because we think we're like, you know what? These guys, these Indians, these native, whatever they are, these natives.
Yeah.
I know it's right for them.
Yeah.
I know how to communicate their message to everybody else.
Exactly.
That is a very interesting point, because I see that, and it's what's the word? It is zealous.
There's
overzealous.
This loss in translation. You just can't put into words.
Yeah.
And every time I speak with people that have similar roles to what I do, you say like Ricardo Pico.
Yeah.
A couple other people. There's this untangible understanding between us that it's like, I just wish. I mean, I'm not saying I have the answers to everything, but we have plenty to share.
Sure.
But sometimes it's kind of like when you have a tree in front of you, but you don't want to see the forest behind it.
That's right. Yeah.
I just think that there's even so many people with tremendous amount of knowledge in agave spirits that if you want to say they haven't been discovered yet, absolutely. But they're there. They've always been there, and they're doing their thing in Mexico, right?
It's hard because the infrastructure is just better in the States.
Yeah.
You get a louder voice. You get enough Twitter followers, enough followers on Facebook. And you can pour whatever you want down the drain, and people are going to pay attention to it.
You know what? Fair enough. But
that's the system. I mean, I can't condemn anybody for using the system.
Exactly.
And then you get a European, someone of a European descent with a relatively moderate ego and access to technology. What the fuck do you think's going to happen?
Yeah.
It's exactly it,
But that to me is only if this momentum of trying to discover things even more and more, it's only good news, right? There is many people, I think, I myself, I love mezcal and what the diversity it brings. I always tell people that agave spirits are like wine, where different grapes are different varietals, different agaves. There's plenty to still be discovered and learned, just even on tequila.
Sure.
And if it wasn't for tequila, none of us
would be talking about mezcal.
Exactly.
Certainly wouldn't be talking about sotol,
exactly,
Resias, or any of that.
Exactly.
So I just wrapped the column.
Chapter number 1.
Chapter 1, which is an amazing bookmark right there. And let's enter chapter 2 when you are going into business, because I suspect that's another big chapter for you. Because you talked about La Venenosa, which I had no idea about. But let's do that. That'll be this chapter.
Okay.
All right. So what should we taste next?
We're gonna taste both Milagro Silver, the base, kind of the iconic blue bottle that hopefully many people have seen.
Absolutely.
And we're going to taste it next to the Select Barrel Silver. Now notice I say Select Barrel Silver. Many people think single barrel,
which is what we're accustomed to here.
I still have the 75 proof on my palate. That's still
sorry.
No, like very pungent and alive.
Well, it's good. It's like we're gonna see it get produced now. It's gonna go from a rough demo.
Yeah. So you kind of, the idea is that now you having tasted this kind of skeleton of the tequila, you see how that combines and is showcased in this.
Yeah.
Right. This Milagro Silver is completely unaged. Kind of is
it just rest in stainless, I guess?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But there really isn't much. So tequila silver is, born good.
Yeah.
It's born from distillation and can be aged up to 2 months.
Sure. Okay.
This is one of the differences between the core bottle and the Select Barrel Reserve bottle. Essentially, we've taken that silver and we mellow in French oak.
Oh, really?
So you're going to have a nice hint of
caramel and these kinds of things.
Very subtle vanilla.
It's got to be. You said 2 months?
2 months. So it's the only class of tequila that can be aged, that has an age limit.
I see.
As a ceiling that has an age.
Like you cannot exceed this.
Exactly. Yeah. The rest, there's a couple of different stipulations. For example, añejos and extrañejos cannot exceed 600, aging in 600 liter even containers. It doesn't really say barrels. Right.
Interesting.
So you could have a 3-year-old reposado, 5-year-old reposado, if you age tequila for set amount of years in 1,000-liter vats.
I see. Okay.
So, but it doesn't make sense
that surface area thing and all that. It's very interesting. So this is 80 proof, or is it?
This is 80 proof. Milagro in Mexico is actually 35 ABV, so it's a little bit less.
Yeah,
it's 70 proof. I can absolutely tell you that I think it's much tastier on this side of the border.
Oh yeah, 40 is the bare minimum in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
I almost won't drink a bourbon. God, I sound so snotty, but I almost won't drink a bourbon if it's under 45.
Sure.
Just something about it. It needs a little bit more balls to it sometimes, But this is amazing. I'm kind of smelling everything coming together,
Yeah.
It's a math
I'm gonna give you both side by side. I really like having these two silver side by side so you can understand. Okay, same backbone, but a little bit different finish, right?
And so the same proof and everything, right?
Same proof.
Okay. Identical spirit, just a couple months in French oak. You said.
Right.
The kind of, were they new French oak? Or?
Yes.
Cool.
New French oak.
So here's the regular. God, man, I love the nose of it.
Yeah, it's bright, agave forward,
yeah,
citrus. I think they're all very sippable, and then it just kind of depends on what you're eating or the cocktail that you're making. So you mentioned La Venenosa.
Mm-hmm.
So that,
so you, to segue into it,
sure.
And that the brilliant, the Blanco is lovely. It's really, really good. I can't wait to try this other one here. But so you had a knack for it, didn't you? Did you get that distillery job? You were talking about the tour? You got it. Okay. Because we're all in suspense. We're all waiting. Well, did he get it? Or did some pretty girl get it?
Yes. I paid him So I got the job. You know how Mexico is.
I guess I do now.
Yeah,
Everybody
no,
just
not at all. Not at all. Yeah, I got the job. You met, Stefano Francavilla from Fortaleza not too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I met him back in early 2008.
Support. Do you care if we say what brand it is?
No, not at all. Partida.
Partida, right? Yeah, yeah.
That's where I started.
That's so cool.
Tequila Partida.
Did you get? So you're obviously starting to understand distillation really well. You're understanding people well. Exactly. All this stuff's coming together. You're already spending some times in the bars. Yeah. You're getting to know maybe what the materials are that they're working with. Cocktail culture. It is this fucking rush. This convergence of all of this stuff happening.
It's this phenomenal spirit. It's got everything about your culture.
Yeah.
Or at least a big part of your cultural identity.
Yeah.
People from around the world are flying into your home.
Right.
You're not having to go anywhere to
where you are is special.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, no. Well, what I mean is they're flying to learn about something that you don't have to go out and
get the convenience factor. You mean
not a convenience, but it's like we would take a trip to Bordeaux.
Yes, right.
Or Napa. Well, tequila country is the Napa of
I see what you're
Jalisco.
Yeah.
So it's a place that deserves to be visited by people.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it was a moment that I got to be really proud of working with a great tequila, with a great spirit, with great people, and I started meeting amazing bartenders from the UK, from San Francisco, and I said, this is fun. It actually pays me.
Yeah, how about that?
And I'm getting to meet really great people.
Yeah, and the bribes only count for like 5%.
Exactly.
You still can make a living.
And so I worked at Partida Tequila. And then from one of my relationships, one of my best friends in the industry who passed away not too long, maybe about 2 years ago, Henry Besant, he was the one who then kind of recommended me to go work with Pernod Ricard in Mexico City.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And, that was a very nice opportunity living in Mexico City, which is an energetic, super cool city. Yeah,
metropolitan, art cultural mecca, right?
Amazing.
Never been, so I'm not going to, it does seem like I've been there, but I've heard wonderful things.
Yeah. The best, I'm not a pozole guy, but I can tell you, I would go to Mexico City and eat a pozole in
just get a long layover, go get it, and then head back. Right?
Yes. And it was with that position that I got to go to many countries around the world. Amazing place. We were talking about kind of the attitude of many people in the trade here in the U.S. And on the there's other countries where I remember doing a tequila training in Cuba. Now I can't claim if I was the first person ever, second, or whatever, but I was definitely one of the very few people who have gone to Cuba to really educate on tequila. And can we talk about Havana?
Hell yeah.
Club? Okay. So
I got a bottle downstairs.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, of course.
I have 2 of those bottles here at home.
If it wasn't amazing, people wouldn't talk about it.
And I can tell you something, just a funny story. When I went to Cuba, okay, well, first point is after one of my trainings in Cuba, this guy said, thank you so much. I always thought that tequila was made out of maíz, out of corn.
Really?
So something that is obvious for us now, but tequila is still very foreign, literally very foreign in many foreign countries.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, and how would they know either? Because it's consumed primarily in North America, right?
Well, and let's not even go that far. That's why I have a job here in the United States to even educate consumers here.
Yeah,
right?
True.
So, but I would go to Kazakhstan and just different countries that just the fact that they had any tequila was mind-boggling.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. So, kind of this humble approach by people all over the world and into tequila and exciting, their excitement to ask you how is it made, where, et cetera, et cetera.
In this mystical land so far away, right?
Yeah. So in Mexico, at least, whenever you tell someone, oh, that's really far, you say, no, that's not China. It's all the way to China. Well, for all those people, I forget in what country I was, their equivalent was Mexico. Like, that's all the way to Mexico.
Oh, that's so
it's
funny.
Super far.
I bet because to us, we get to take it for granted, right or wrong, because it's right down. It's a
Absolutely.
drive. You could drive there.
Literally.
But then we were in London recently, and there's signs for like go to Mexico. Like it was this amazing far off destination. But it is when you're
right
in
there.
Europe, of course.
Me living in San Antonio, Monterrey and Dallas are equidistant, at least time wise.
Oh, really?
If I want to go on a trip, I can just as easily go to Monterrey than to Dallas.
That's amazing. So that is a very good relative point about the relativity and stuff.
Yeah, and Tamaulipas being a tequila producing state, it's also, I always ask people here in Texas, who I'm also very proud to be living here.
Oh yeah,
it's like, okay, tequila. They're like, oh yeah. And you're a Texan, right? Oh, absolutely. All right, what's the state where you can produce tequila that's just bordering Texas on the other side?
Blank right?
Stare.
Yeah.
Right. But so back to Havana Club. The commercial guy that was in charge of orchestrating me going over there, so the country manager, if you will, he, in Spanish, very objectively, he was saying our maestro de tequila, so our tequila teacher, if you will.
Then that's how he prefaced you, right?
Yeah, very, very, a car's a car, a horse, kind of thing.
Right. If I understand correctly, maestro has a totally different meaning.
Absolutely.
Because it's on that bottom, like it's called the maestro.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
Selecciones, I guess.
Oh my goodness. I land in Havana, and I'm walking out, and I see these two ladies with the polo of Havana Club. And I greet them, and they're smiling, but they look at me kind of funny. And I'm like, I'm Juan Pablo, I'm so happy to be here. Yada, yada. They're like, oh, we thought you were going to be older. Like 20 years older.
Right.
And, so I get in the car, and then, they were super friendly. They were super nice. And they were telling me, well, it's very nice to have you here, maestro. I'm like, and something, a light went off. Like,
yes.
There's something wrong here.
Oh, no.
And, because they started telling me how their maestro roneros are people that have been handpicked when they're, starting at a young age. I mean, young could be 20, 21, 25.
Still young, yeah.
In the distillery. But they've worked at the distillery 30 years, right? Through many, a lot of work.
Yeah.
And they've earned the title, sweat, blood, time.
Yes.
Just even the time factor I can't account for.
Yeah, right.
And I told them, you know what? I do have a lot to share about tequila, but by no means, please, do even put me on the same scale as these gentlemen, because
decades and decades of devoting their life to it.
Right. So I know, X amount of years of little that I've seen.
Yeah.
I know I have the book smarts on it, but I don't have
the experiential.
No, not at all. And
did they make you leave the country? Would you keep going?
And nor do I claim, but don't for what I need to do here, what we need, the brand to do here in Cuba, we're in great position.
Right.
We get to some of the trainings, and they have their USBG equivalent, like this Asociación de Cantineros de Cuba, but they take this just as if it's
like law school.
Exactly. Right? It's super serious.
Yeah,
right?
For sure. And that's actually amazingly admirable.
Yes.
I wish some of these guys in the States would take that shit seriously.
It was amazing, their passion and just their craving to learn and their professionalism. So we're doing this training with bartenders from certainly all of Havana, but other parts of the country that have come into Havana. And whomever, again, presents me as the maestro tequilero, and I'm just like, oh my goodness. So, okay, you can see where this is going. By the end of day 5, I just roll with it. Because I'm like,
well, what do you get?
I can't do anything to stop them, apparently.
Exactly.
And they want
They're
to
giving me more credit than I'm worth. All right, fine.
Yeah, absolutely. And the last dinner, the CEO equivalent of company over there, and a lot of bigwigs at the last dinner, very nice dinner. One of them stands up and say, well, from a maestro to a maestro, we want to give you this bottle. And I'm like, oh, God. First, I was like, awesome.
Yes.
Thank you.
And then,
oh, no. I was like, we do have a master distiller.
That's right. God, I hope he doesn't hear about this. Taking credit for his
So
work.
yeah, that's why I do like Havana Club very much.
It's a really, there's something special about it.
Yeah,
And not because it's hard to get, but because it's delicious.
it is.
If I could get it for $10 every day, I would still get it.
You know
Doesn't
that
matter.
they actually just won a trademark here.
Pernod Ricard did, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's coming.
you know, we'll see.
But they got to transfer to 750s and get new label
Yeah.
approval. I think it'll happen. I'm not sure what the timeline is.
Hopefully, Barack is kind of paving the way so that happens before he leaves, right?
So I did just sip the Barrel Select,
Mm-hmm.
and the back end of it is so creamy.
Absolutely.
That barrel ties it together. Like this may, people, whether it's Eater or whether it's any other kind of place on the internet where people make these huge exaggerative remarks, this is one of the finest tequilas I've ever tasted. It's just so lovely and so pleasant.
You know, I truly can share this with you so fast forward Pernod Ricard.
Mm-hmm.
I've been with William Grant and Sons now longer than even Partida and Pernod combined, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've been lucky and blessed to work with tequilas that I myself truly enjoy,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm happy to put my face next to. And Select Barrel, I remember one of the first times I saw it, tasted it. I thought it was delicious, but then the bottle, I was like, oh man, this is gonna be, because the bottle's so attractive.
Yeah. Do you think that people are trying to overcompensate?
It's gonna be the worst bottle for me to talk about because people will be more enthralled about the bottle than the juice. But then once they understand that the bottle is just up to par with the juice,
right?
Then
the ultimate experience.
Yeah,
really.
exactly.
No, but I think you're right. I think there's a lot of smoke and mirrors with the spirits that you make it look so beautiful to compensate or overcompensate for the spirit that's maybe lacking. But the spirit is better than the bottle.
Yes.
In this case.
Yes.
Which you wouldn't even think because it's a beautiful bottle. I don't even know
Yes.
how you guys do the etching in the middle or the cavity.
Well, it's an agave inside, right?
Yeah.
You can almost pour it as a really nice wine. I've started without any chronological sense or even order.
Mm-hmm.
I've just started posting like multiple uses for this bottle, right? So I'll keep olive oil in here.
Oh yeah.
Or I'll use it as a wine decanter.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
So
really nice.
there's fun stuff that you can do.
Absolutely.
Um,
what is retail on that, by the way?
For this one in the state of Texas, average retail is around 43, 45.
Oh, that's pretty reasonable. Then.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a select barrel. So even the base wine is like $25.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Really, really approachable.
So for San Antonio Cocktail Conference, did a seminar on chocolate and tequila.
Oh, amazing.
I love chocolate.
Yeah. Who doesn't like chocolate?
Who doesn't like chocolate, right?
Bad people. It had to be.
Even Donald Trump likes chocolate.
Yeah.
Right?
He's got to. Even he's got some.
Although it comes
soul,
from
I guess.
Mexico. But,
Yeah, right.
Maybe
just don't tell him.
He's an in-the-closet chocolate lover.
It's from Pennsylvania, right? Yeah, yep, sure.
This one is a Lindt Intense Mint Dark Chocolate. The reason I got this is the Select Barrel Silver sometimes has a really nice green note.
Yeah.
If you sip it just with a mint leaf, it goes nice. So I brought this so you can have some chocolate.
Oh, amazing.
And sip the tequila. It's very rare, and this only recently did I start pairing silver tequilas with chocolate, right? Because usually off the bat you would say, oh, just aged spirits, the reposados and añejos, the butterscotch notes and so forth. Again, I haven't tasted this one, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be all right. Hopefully it doesn't.
The chocolate alone's incredible.
Hopefully it doesn't taste like the Olive Garden mint bites or whatever.
No, that's good.
But
And so, what's the order you think that's best? Chocolate, then tequila?
absolutely.
Okay.
So while it's still creamy on your palate, have a sip and enjoy the ride. Yeah.
It's almost unfair how good that is, because you get all the back of palate umami,
Yeah.
and it's just like it intensifies the already delicious base spirit.
Yeah.
Jesus,
I'll tell you, chocolate.
people fainting at the seminar, or
Having a job where you often have to present in front of people,
Yeah.
and you think you know how to read people. There were very silent moments in that seminar where I was asking and wanted the crowd to engage.
And they're like,
and you're like, am I boring them to death or
Right.
what's going on? And so I kind of asked someone, they're like, no, like just the marrying of the chocolate and the tequila is so good.
They left them speechless.
Yeah. And
literally.
The first time I ever did something like this was with the guys, with Annie in Houston at a shop called Cacao and Cardamom. Beautiful chocolates. Oh, wow. And she's lovely. She can explain so much about chocolates. But this second time, I worked with Chef Austin and John Russ out of Luke in San Antonio. Yeah. So, and what I liked is that I like to use different chocolates, different textures, not only different percentage of cacao, but, sometimes you have your truffles, but then you have your almost like chocolate abuelita, the Mexican powder, the tablet to make the hot chocolate. So tequila, many people, I tell them just very black and white, silvers for appetizers, ceviches, fresh fruits like pepino and jicama with lime and whatever. Everything that, we add lime and everything.
Where's that lime chocolate at?
Well, we did pair essentially imagine a Diablo cocktail, but in a chocolate.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So we tasted different things, but yeah.
Well, now I'm sad. I'm incredibly sad I missed it, actually. But right? I do, I'm going to say, I feel like maybe I'm getting my little private class here running through this flight, so I don't feel too bad. Yeah. Not too bad. Well, so the chocolate is beautiful. The tequilas are beautiful. And I think about it like as a host. I'm going to call myself a host for a second.
Sure.
What's the right pacing to go into chapter 3, but also talk about your personal projects? Because I know there are some. We keep touching on Venenosa, and I find it such an intriguing spirit.
Those were parentheses in my life.
Yeah. Well, we all got parentheses.
We all have many parentheses.
We do, yeah.
Right?
So how about that? Do you want to do the repo, and then we'll get into that and talk about...
Absolutely. We're actually going to skip a repo and jump into añejos. Simply because I don't have both repos. Otherwise, we would be at a tequila tasting.
That's right. And I feel like I would not be able to capture the moment as well. Perhaps get off course a little bit more than normal.
So añejos are kind of... To me, it's always been interesting that silver tequila is so big in the United States in the sense that you have so many whiskey drinkers. And, initially you would think, okay, you have your whiskey and scotch drinkers. You need something, an age-matured tequila whose notes can relate to their palate. So it's always interesting to me why silver is the biggest. But this añejo is lovely. This is where you start with your father-in-law, whomever has said it's been 30 years since I had tequila, right?
Ease them in.
Exactly.
Then you go to the Blanco, right?
Which one did you have the select barrel in?
It was that class there, yeah.
This is select barrel. So we use for the base Milagro Añejo ex-American whiskey barrels, and for the select barrel añejo, we do a marriage of said barrels with French oak.
Oh, man.
New French oak.
Amazing.
Again, so more than... With us at Milagro, more so than talking about age statements, how long is your reposado? How long is your añejo? It's more about the personality and characteristics that you get from the types of barrel.
That's right. Yeah.
Right? Because
that's what you're doing anyway. Is that's where that you put a corn distillate isn't much on its own, but it's that barrel and how that's treated that imparts the flavor. So of course, think about starting with an advantage already. Like whiskey is like a handicap 10 in golf, right? It's not that good of a golfer, but that as it gets along and the barrel imparts that flavor, that's what truly brings it to form. But this spirit, I've tasted now every component of it. I've tasted it final. I've tasted it rested. I mean, this is an amazing narrative because I can just see you're using the barrel as seasoning salt, finishing salt.
And, you're talking about seasoning. I love how people say there's a seasonality of spirits, and absolutely there is. But tequila, they say, all right, we got to get ready for the summer season of margaritas and silver.
Right.
Well,
right.
I'll tell you what. To me, the whole year is tequila season, right? Figuratively and legit.
Yes, and you're not even paid to say that. I think you really feel that way.
It's. Let me ask you, how many, for example, like colognes do you have?
Right. I've got one.
One.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a go-to.
I've got two.
See, that's good.
I've got, my summer one, which is a little bit lighter,
Mm-hmm.
and then I've got my cold one,
Darker,
which is,
muskier.
exactly,
Yeah.
tobacco and so forth.
Right.
Which obviously here in Texas we don't get to use that often,
Not too much.
and I'm completely okay with that.
Yeah.
But that's with tequila during colder season. Añejo was phenomenal,
Yeah.
and now that you put chocolate in the mix,
Why would I ever leave the house?
right? Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna pour myself some.
Yeah, I don't. You have to. Yeah, you
And we have some 86% dark chocolate.
Oh, nice. A little bit bitter, a little bit coffee.
Exactly.
And that one is best with the barrel select añejo.
Or
either
what?
way.
Let's just have an experiment and you taste it with both.
Okay.
Because the base or the core añejo is a little bit drier,
Yeah.
spicier, and the select barrel añejo is just creamy, velvety.
Yeah.
It's like berry white in liquid form,
Very white. I like it. No, it's good. His voice was already velvet, but
Right.
imagine a liquid velvet.
Remember that guy who sang Chocolate Rain?
Yeah.
See that
Yeah.
YouTube sensation? That
Is that
his deep voice.
Yeah, it was really lush and nice.
And he had a Dr. Pepper commercial.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if I saw that.
We were talking about, again, not going that far. You shared with me you were in La Perla Negra.
Yeah.
And I can tell
just on
you,
Saturday, it was great.
in Fort Worth,
Yeah.
it's places like La Perla Negra and The Usual and Thompson's in Fort Worth that are really making it a cool city. I truly, truly enjoy going to Fort Worth. They're super humble, and they've got these little gems. Like I told you, my favorite Mexican restaurant is called Revolver Taco. They're so good, so good, and they're just people that want to learn more, right?
Well, it's cool because Fort Worth hasn't yet made its mark in the way Houston has, Austin has. So much more eager and so much more potential.
Absolutely.
And this is really incredible with that 86 cacao chocolate and the añejo, the regular.
Yeah.
It just keeps going. It's like it just takes that chocolate and it just keeps spreading it. It's very, very delicious.
This is something, right before I go to bed, and it's only 7:00 here with you right now. So we've got a long night. So parentheses.
Yeah, let's go over the parentheses as I lick chocolate off my hand here.
This conversation has had a lot of parentheses, and I keep dropping chocolates.
Someone will get to it, believe me.
La Venenosa, and again, we talk about these, Havana Club, and because they're bottles that you have downstairs.
Yeah.
Many years ago, 2008, I met Esteban Morales, a great friend of mine, who had a restaurant called Gulala, and it was really way ahead of its time in Guadalajara. Esteban spent some time in London, and like many other Mexican friends, spent time in the cocktail world and brought it to Mexico, to a place that wasn't really understood nor appreciated it.
Yeah.
So
ahead of its time then when you did it?
Tremendously ahead of its time. So Gulala had really, it was the only cocktail place in the city for a long time. We met when I was at Partida. We became good friends because of agave, because of tequila.
The great unifier, agave.
And we thought of this super cool concept, an agaveria, right? Maybe today seems a very, a term that is used and known, but agaveria then it was super new.
Totally. Yeah.
Even us, we felt super proud that no one, it's a house where you celebrate all agave spirits.
Yeah.
And this is, 2009.
Yeah, there was no pastry war.
The world of difference that 5-6 years makes, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Which doesn't seem like a lot.
Doesn't seem like a lot.
But in this particular market or this particular narrative or this particular art, that was like the Renaissance.
Well, I mean, put it into at least my professional context now with William Grant & Sons and Milagro. having said that, now it's the place where I've spent more time,
Yeah.
more than Pernod and Partida.
Yeah.
Even San Antonio, the cocktail scene from summer 2012 when I got here to now,
Totally different.
worlds apart.
Yeah.
Tremendously different.
World class now.
Absolutely.
You know?
The idea was to showcase agave spirits, right? Back then, no one was talking about espadín,
No.
much less bacanora, sotol,
Yeah.
all that jazz. So I remember specifically looking for a name, and I was just surfing the interweb,
The interwebs,
and
yes.
fell up, obviously, Mayawell and this and that and that. And I remember putting down on paper different names of a possible restaurant. And we wanted to do something even much more grand that we initially did. And we came out, with a concept, I showed him to Esteban. Some of the names were Los Incontables, conejos, like the numerable or countless rabbits and this and that. And he loved it, and we ran with it. We started 400 Rabbits, the agaveria.
And so you're still doing like the brand work at the same time, or did you stop and say, I'm going to stop that for a while and then work on the...
I actually, because of me going to Pernod, and this is same exact thing with La Venenosa. We both started it together, but then just simply, I was doing Pernod Ricard and going to different countries, and my time was elsewhere. So we started together, but really that is 1,000% his project.
Yeah.
I mean, the only relation that I have with it is that I was there. It's like to say if, the doctor who births a child,
that he like can copyright it or something. That he owns
nothing,
that.
right?
Yeah.
That's you could say that's me. I was a nurse that was in the room.
Right. But it seems like you were a partner of some sort at least.
Yeah, absolutely. And in 400 Rabbits, I still am involved with Esteban, which is completely cool. I still have the roots back in Guadalajara.
It's amazing.
It's tough not to be in Guadalajara,
Yeah, some family too.
Well, absolutely, but the day-to-day agave family, like the tequileros and all that, you do miss a lot of things that are going on down there. Right. And, but so Esteban has done a phenomenal job now with, he's probably the person with the most knowledge. If anyone wants to learn raicilla, they have to go talk to.
Wait, so what was the impetus then for Venenosa? Is it to share something that's relatively unexplored? Is it to own a brand? Like what exactly is
it was basically saying, we were in Jalisco and we loved tequila. And there's this spirit that politically and socioeconomically, destinations of origins is caught in limbo, right? Because it's not a tequila. It's not blue agave, tequilana Weber in destination of origin. It's can't be mezcal because mezcal has a different footprint in its destination of origin.
Yeah.
So it's an agave. It is a mezcal without a commercial name for it, right? So it was to say, names don't mean anything.
It's like a genre, right? It's like,
exactly.
I'm just playing this thing and people want to try to put a name on it, but it is what it is.
Labels.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Wasn't some white European guy, was it?
I don't know. Potato.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So we wanted to just showcase anything that you can hydrolyze, anything that you can cook.
Yeah.
Extract, ferment, distill,
whatever, pull it out of the ground and do it.
Exactly.
Yeah. I love that.
And there's this lovely community with tons of heritage and of gentlemen that are doing these great spirits that no one was talking about them. And kind of, it's the same narrative that tequila used to have, that mezcal amongst the trade used to have, that it was a poor man's spirit. Right. Yeah, it absolutely was that everywhere,
But that doesn't mean it's not made with care.
Exactly.
I think a lot of people misinterpret that. Sotol, especially, in my experience, like people are like, "Oh man, I remember Sotol. I remember that night." It's like, well, you
and
get
they
a
forget
good
about the 15 beers they had before.
Yeah, exactly.
That, right?
Oh, it's very convenient. Same thing with gin too, just for the record. I remember that night I had with gin. It's like it's because of the 10 beers.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So you feel like there's this big opportunity to just have a snapshot of a culture that's kind of they're underdogs in a way. They don't have a label. you're bringing the indie band to the masses, right?
Absolutely. And in Mexico, there's been a lot of interest, and there's people with enormous amount of knowledge in these things. Ana Valenzuela, she is a scientist, and Ana, forgive me if I identify you in a maybe not the most right way, but she lives in Belgium, and she studies agave, and she talks about sustainability and what proper production should be. She's this phenomenal. She's one of the people that going back to one of our first conversations. She's someone that needs to be known in this country.
Amazing. Well, I mean, I guess I could go to Belgium.
Yeah, why not?
Right? I'm looking at my watch that I'm not wearing, but that might take me a while.
Yeah,
to get down there.
We've got tequila to keep you entertained.
That's true. I've got the fuel,
right?
At the very least.
So yeah, but I guess at the end of the day, I'm only very thankful to have, even if it was a very brief moment in time, that I was able to be involved with Venenosa.
But it was
it's a cheeky name.
What is it?
It means the venomous one.
Is that really
poisonous?
Yeah,
one.
the poisonous one.
Because again, that stereotype that that's the stuff that'll
mess you up.
Exactly.
Right.
So it was almost like, no, you're gonna taste this, and the whole, oh my gosh, it's gonna blind you. Whatnot. Yeah. Oh wait, I'm actually waking up, and I had dinner and I drank.
I'm functional.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, my mind is always racing. Always.
You're always thinking of ideas, aren't you?
Always thinking of ideas.
What do you have? What's the next one on the tip of your tongue?
Oh, brother. I've got so many.
Daddy daycare.
Daddy daycare. So many ideas. If you know, obviously, the whole tequila spectrum and the law and all that, there's still so much innovation to be made.
I agree.
I understand and am fully cognizant in what it means to sustainability and all that, being a monoculture, but there's so much that can still be done with tequila.
Oh yeah.
It's super exciting.
I can't I got my eye on a few things to do it domestically, and not to do a mix though, but do something that is my just middle finger to the industry, and not try to make it polite.
Yeah.
And I've tasted one expression.
Yeah.
Only one. And these are beautiful. These are amazingly velvetly David Bowie songs, right? They're catchy, they're memorable. Like that's how I feel about this. But we need some Black Flag. We need like something that's a little bit more rugged. And I had that Fortaleza Still Strength.
Yeah.
There's funk.
Texas, like much of, go back historically, they've found true agave in Arizona and New Mexico.
Yeah.
That, so obviously the people 9,000, 8,000 years ago here in this part of the world were already using agave.
Yeah.
So certainly you can grow it, but now because of, fast forward years of social development, economic development, the labor is one of the huge hindrances to producing in theory, great agave spirits in the U.S.
Oh yeah, it's a huge roadblock.
I've had people come up to me and be like, "JP, let's do something in Texas." I'm like, "How?
Yeah,
labor."
Dude. Yes,
that's
right.
it.
No, it's the challenge. We did the sotol, so I know how to harvest sotol now. I know how to cook it, how to shred it, how to ferment it. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't make me any closer to being a millionaire.
Exactly.
Like everybody's like, "Oh no, this is a great idea." Like, have you ever done it?
Yeah.
Well, no, I learned. Like, God bless, because it's a fucking nightmare in a lot of cases. Now, I wouldn't trade the experience for anything in the world.
Yeah.
Getting down to that second pot still run on an agave or agave-esque spirit, there is nothing in my life that could prepare me or rival that experience.
How'd you find Utopia? We were talking about Utopia.
Yeah, we were talking about it. Well, it came down the pipeline.
Okay.
A good friend of mine, Justin Elliott, heard from somebody that there was a field of these plants. They didn't know exactly what to do with them. They didn't really know what sotol was. They had the harebrained idea that you could turn a spirit, or rather you could turn these plants into a spirit. lo and behold, 10 months later, I've read everything I can. I went to
Yeah.
Oaxaca to learn with Acalino, not for very long, but taking
Yeah.
these things, asking all the questions. It still doesn't prepare you for all the mistakes. But you know, I'll say it here. That relationship turned out to be a nightmare, and my supplier really overreached his boundaries, and thus we're left with our dick in our hands right now about finding a new supplier. But the good thing is, anything we learned about cooking these plants, distilling them, I now taste it.
Yeah.
I taste it in mezcal. I taste it in the tequila, that Fortaleza specifically, and I can't revert now.
You know,
I'm a changed man.
Fortaleza is certainly one of my favorite tequilas.
Yeah.
And I still have bottles of it called, Los Abuelos, completely sealed, not unopened.
Oh, that's amazing.
And Guillermo, Guillermo and I don't know if Guillermo remembers this, Fortaleza. We met, can you believe this? We met at a PF Chang's.
That's where all beautiful relationships start.
In Guadalajara. I think this was right before I joined Pernod Ricard, and I was looking for, different things here and there. And we sat down and we called each other. I don't know how we got in touch.
Yeah.
But the point is that it was just crazy. Out of all the places in Guadalajara to meet, out of great places in Guadalajara to have met, but I think that is the reason I remember it, because it's like meeting at McDonald's.
I know. Well, those lettuce wraps are good though. That tofu, man, I tell you.
Those dry rub.
Yes. Yeah.
Dry rub ribs are pretty good.
They're real good. People talk shit about it, but
No, but gosh, tequila. It's been because of tequila that even as easy as this, you and I were chatting because of tequila.
Right. Because of tequila.
I've been just lucky, to have been to many countries, and here in the U.S., to me, it's quite cool that I've been to all the states in the South.
Amazing.
From Atlantic to Pacific.
Yeah.
Which is super cool.
Sure.
And it's really only to thank tequila for. And, working with a portfolio where we have things like Montelobos and Ancho Reyes, it's just fun, Yeah. If you don't enjoy what you're doing, I mean, we all say that, but I think in hospitality, more often than not, we are lucky that we enjoy what we do.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a wonderful opportunity.
I don't know for example, any serious bartender that doesn't enjoy. I mean, the reason he's there is because he enjoys.
Sure. You have to.
And
I think maybe there's better job satisfaction in this industry than other industries, and I certainly hope so.
Absolutely.
And so I got one last question for you as we finalize, and I've been eating the chocolate secretly off my but it paired so perfectly, the 86% cacao dark chocolate, just slightly bitter, with the barrel select añejo.
That's right.
Basically finished in some bourbon barrels. You said whiskey, I presume bourbon, but you didn't mention it. And then some new French oak. So you got creaminess, you got depth, and
chocolate, banana, butterscotch. Still a lot of cooked agave.
Yeah. It's the best way to win over your father-in-law, like you said.
Or realize he doesn't like it, and you get to keep the bottle to yourself.
Right. So thanks for buying it.
Exactly.
But so I'm going to assume, but you're married.
Yep.
And you're traveling a whole lot. I mean, what are her thoughts on it?
It's just always been like that.
Oh,
you know? I mean, when I was with Partida, I would always go to Cabo, Cancun, and Puerto Vallarta, just everywhere.
Yeah.
And so
there's a little business justification too. You're not just going to go.
Yeah. And it's been amazing.
Yeah.
It's been amazing. It's 2008 years now. That this role. No.
Oh, the role.
5, yeah. Yeah. So it's been good. It's been good. It's allowed us some cool things, cool experiences.
I can tell. I'm envious of all the places you've been, man. I'm making a list.
But how you and I we started the conversation essentially that hopefully, this is the first half of the game, right?
That's right. Yeah.
That
I don't know when did Hemingway die? Do you remember? Like I don't know if that's his 50s or 60s. But if I make it to that point, I'm all right.
Someone told me that him and Tupac and Elvis are playing a game of dominoes right now somewhere.
I bet so. Over classic Cuban daiquiris, I presume.
Yeah.
So, man, Jesus, thank you so much for walking me through this flight. It's been an additive process. It's been so amazing to taste an 18% pot stilled Ordinario blended with a 75% column stilled. I mean, that blended, then I get to taste it in the raw form. I get to taste it in 2 months treated with French oak. Then I get to taste it with the añejo, with bourbon. I mean, where do I go from here? Where the hell do I go, JP?
I guess we go eat...
Pozole.
We go eat pozole. We go to Mexico City. We get on Southwest.com and get out of here, you know?
I may have some miles, man. We'll have to look into it. It's been amazing chatting with you. Thank you for your generosity and your hospitality just in my place.
Thank you for having me.
It's been great. So, salud.
Salud.
Thank you. Well, there we have it. A brilliant flight through the Milagro Tequila line. I got to try some things, and I feel very honored. I feel very privileged trying the Ordinario run from a tequila distillery. I don't know. I haven't seen that happen very often. I've never seen a bottle of it in my presence. Similarly, trying that spirit run at a full 60+% ABV. It was an exploration of tequila, a wonderful narrative through the tequilas as we discussed JP's life. You know, every time he comes into town, he's the guy you want to drink with. He's the guy you want to hang out with and talk to. Warm, cordial, and yet an absolute reflection, again, of the roster of William Grant & Sons lineup. Those brand ambassadors, you know, sometimes we talk some shit. Sometimes we think they're less than savory personalities, but these guys are great, and I am building up this roster one interview at a time. So thanks, everybody, for listening to Show to V. No matter what kind of honey pretzels you're eating from HEB, or if they cause you to choke while you're trying to do an intro to your own podcast, please keep dancing.